Hi YouTube, it's Ready Prep Go, and today I wanted to demonstrate an idea that I had for if you're camping with a tarp. I have an 8x8 tent smith's tarp. It is oilcloth or oilskin. I think they're comparable, might be the same thing. But I see Dave Canterbury making a lot of very useful videos on these tarps, and I've seen some of his setups. And I've looked up different ways you can set up a square tarp. This is an 8x8. And I haven't seen this idea that I'm about to show you. It's very likely that people have come up with this idea before, but it was an original thought of mine. I haven't found anything that specifically made me want to do this setup. I just kind of thought it up. So if one of you actually knows the name of the setup I'm about to do, you should totally tell me in the comments. Or if it turns out that not many people thought of this, then you guys might want to give it a try. I think it's pretty cool. So, I've already got a tripod set up here out of just 3 sticks that I found. And what I've done is I have just adjusted this so that it is at a certain height, which you can easily determine if you take just one side of your tarp and you find a tie out on the very middle of one side. Not on a corner, but in the middle of one side, and hook it over your tripod, or if you tie it to your tripod, however you choose. Then when you lower it, you'll notice that the 2 edges that hang down on that side will eventually reach the ground. You want to make it so that they're flush with the ground. So I'm just going to adjust this a little more so that it's flush with the ground. That's pretty good. Now, the advantage of this setup is that it creates an entirely enclosed sort of tent setup. It's sort of turning your tarp into a tent. Because one thing with the problem with diamond setups with a tarp is that it's very open-faced and you can get things like bugs. And if you're camping outside and you like the security of feeling just, walls around you, it's just amazing how being inside an actual tent provides you with a feeling of security. So this can give you that. And I was very excited about it. I tried it out in my own backyard, and it worked smashingly. So now, you're going to go to the opposite side of your tarp that you've hung from the tripod. You're going to go to the opposite side, from the center again, and you're going to take a tent stake and put it through the middle tie-out on the opposite side. And you're just going to pull until you see a nice straight taut line between the top of the tripod and the ground, and just try and push that tent stake in. If you have a hammer, that's good. Also, the ground is frozen here, so this is very difficult to do. Oh. The one thing I did not prepare for was frozen ground. Is there a rock? No. I'm not going to use my gun hands, so. Oh. Wow, that ground is really frozen. I don't want to break my tent stick. That's going to have to do. Sorry, guys, but we can keep going with this. It's in there enough for a demonstration. So, that gives you a nice taut line. Make sure that when you actually do this, you're able to get your tent stakes completely in the ground. This would not be sufficient. Hey, Jones. Now you're going to pull out to the side so that you have a nice straight line in the back here. You're going to pull out your corner tie-outs on this end. And you want to stake them in very well, better than what I'm going to have. Stake out both corners so that you have a relatively straight line in the back. The frozen ground. So essentially, when you look over this, you should have a very nice triangle. A very good, very even triangle. It's not even, you can't see that here, but it's not quite taut. You can pull it out and adjust it so that the line in the back is taut. Now this one's a little loose. That might be because the tripod might be moving. I think it is. So if you want to stake down your tripod, that's not a bad idea. I think that's exactly what's happening. So Bring your tripod out a bit. Adjust the stakes. So that, oh, yep, and my poles are starting, my spikes are starting to come out. Don't do this! Just want the world to know my lovely idea. There we go. That'll do. Now, if you notice that your edges aren't touching the ground and you want to have as much coverage as you can to keep things like rain or little critters out, you can continue to lower your tripod until the edges are flush with the ground. Half-assed job that came out to a decent demonstration. Now, what's lovely is in here, if this had been done a little better and a little tauter, you have in here a nice little living space. And if you have a 10 Smith's tarp or another tarp that has tie-outs along the top like this one does, you can run some cord through the middle or through this one, and then loop it if you have a tree over here. Loop it over a tree, and you get a little extra space in there, which is great for foot room because when you lie in here, you've got about 8 feet of space. It's about an 8-foot triangle, since each of these edges is 8 feet. And you can climb right in here, lay your ground mat down. Oh, it's a little wet and cold and frozen. Lay your ground mat down and lay out in here. And there is enough room for about a person who's 6 feet tall to stay in there. Well, the ground is wet and cold, so I'm not going to stay in there too long. I don't have a ground mat with me. But unless when you're in there, you can lie in there. I'd put your feet in first, have your head near here. And I would definitely recommend you find a place with a tree above that you can pull this up higher to get some more volume out of it. I definitely recommend having a hammer to bring your stakes into the ground, or an axe. And then when you hop in there for the night, throw this over. And you can use another extra tent stake if you have. Just put it through these tie-outs right here, and it'll loosely close this up. Do the same thing here. And it's not a perfect seal, but really, it'll provide you that little bit extra security, or that sense of security. And you have walls around you, you're not exposed, and you have a little bit of privacy too, if that's what you're looking for. And you could fit 2 people who are 6 feet tall in here. Or if your significant other is shorter, makes for all the more room. So this is just a fun original idea I had. If somebody knows that this is an actual official way to set up a tarp, and you know the name, where I can find out more about it, please comment and tell me about it. I'm sure other people have tried this. It seems so very simple, but it provides you with a way to make a mostly decent, closed, tent-like setup with your tarp. Square tarps. So thanks for watching, guys, and give this a try. Tell me what you think of it, and whether or not you recommend a different way that you could make a closed wall tent with a square tarp. And other than that, have fun, be smart, be safe, and please educate yourself. I'll see you later.